Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Quadri, your partner in emotional health. Today, I want to talk about an exercise that can help you with your anxiety and stress. So let's get into it. Before I talk about that exercise, I want to kind of talk about how anxiety comes and where it comes from in the brain and how does it manifest, and just a little bit overview background, the how it is, what happens in the brain and overall. And so let's get into it. Main cause of the anxiety is that, like I said, I was telling earlier, it's in the brain. So you have to look at in the brain, like, there's two systems you have to look at. There's that central nervous system, and there's the peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system is it's basically your brain in the head. The peripheral nervous system is anything that's like below, from your spinal cord all the way. So the central nervous system, or the brain, has two parts into it, where you have the higher centers and the lower center. So what is the higher center? Higher center of the brain is the executive functioning, or the frontal lobe of the brain. The lower center, or the emotional center of the brain, is called the amygdala. What is the frontal lobe, or the higher center of the brain? That's where your executive functionings are occurring. Meaning that's where the brain decides what's important, what's not important. You can think of it as a filter of your brain, where it decides what information is important, what needs to be in your conscious level. So as you can see, a lot of times we have things brain do, like, for example, breathing, that does not require your attention. Even though you're not paying attention, you're breathing. So things when you're focusing on, you're paying attention on, and that's where that frontal lobe helps you kind of focus and give you that executive functioning. You can think of it as more of it's a thinking brain. It helps you think. It helps you decide. The other think of that also as an active or a conscious brain. That's you're actively engaged. You're, like, for example, you're listening to my lecture right now. That you're using your frontal lobe. You're actively engaged and focused on what I'm talking about. So the lower center of the brain is, as I mentioned earlier, it's called amygdala. So what is amygdala? It's a small piece of the brain that's in the middle of the brain, and it's consists more of like emotional. They call it an emotion. You can think of it as emotional brain. That's where your anxiety comes from. A lot of the decision that you make emotional decisions, comes from the amygdala. You can think of it as more of like an automatic brain or a subconscious brain, that you're not aware of. The things they're just occurring from there. So it's more of like emotional side. That's where your emotions come from. Your anxiety, your emotions, your stress comes from that amygdala. So the second part of the system, I said the peripheral nervous system, right? That's more of the, you can think of it as more of an autonomic nervous system, where, from your brain, to your body, there's a connection, the spinal cord. You can think of it as a spinal cord, where that huge big cord that connects your brain from all the way to, at the bottom, like the whole spine. It's behind your spine. From there, you get all these branches, nerves come out. And so that's where all the information from your brain is being relayed to the body through this nervous system, the peripheral nervous system. So it basically carries signal from the brain to the, or that the spinal cord. You can think of it as a spinal cord, where that huge big cord, the central nervous into the body. Okay. So these signals go throughout the body. They basically stimulate every system or organs of your body. And then from there, you will see a lot of the symptoms occurring. Then you can see like where your increased heart rate, blood pressure going up, stomach pain, sweating, feeling hot and feeling cold. That's where that's occurring. The signal from the brain coming to your body, and then you're feeling it in your body in those physical symptoms. So I want to dive in and explain. I know you explained the three parts to this. I want to kind of give you an understanding. What is the relationship within all these three, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system and the higher center and the lower center? It sounds a little confusing, but there is a connection between all these three. I'm going to give you an example. Let's just talk about healthy emotion. Okay. Let's just say you're feeling calm and relaxed. Where does that come from? So it starts with frontal lobe, where it's active, it's calm, and basically it suppresses the lower center, which is the amygdala. So then you're not so emotional. You're just much more calm. And then from there, the body gets a signal from the central nervous system, and then the whole, like, it goes to your peripheral nervous system. The whole, let's just say, neck below. The message comes here. You're not in danger. Stay calm. Your heart rate is normal. You're able to, like, for example, right now, if you're watching my video, you're calm and relaxed in your living room or your couch. Basically, your frontal lobe is active, and it's keeping you calm throughout the body. And your physical signs, it doesn't exist. They're pretty calm. Now let's look at the opposite, where now your anxiety has gone up, your stress level has gone up. So in that case, what happened is your frontal lobe, or higher center, is underactive. Now, since that is underactive, now there is nothing stopping your amygdala, or the lower center of your brain, and it's there's nothing stopping it. So your frontal lobe is not inhibiting or stopping it. Now, amygdala is fully charged. Now, what that means is when it's fully charged, your anxiety and stress level has gone up. Now then, from there, what happens? Body gets a signal through your peripheral nervous system or spinal cord that there is a danger that's occurring. So now your peripheral nervous system is activated, and it's in terms of where it's preparing your body for fight or flee, right? So it's trying to prepare you from danger. Because it's preparing you from danger, then what happens is all your blood supply, all the nutrition will come to important organs like your heart and lungs, because you need to breathe, a little bit more than usual. And then your heart needs to have more blood supply so it can supply to your muscles, right? Because your muscles needs to be activated, because now you're ready to either run or fight. So your muscles need to be in shape. So the body gives priority to heart, lungs, and muscles. And then what happens is now when your anxiety and stress level goes up and there's no danger, even though your body is perceiving there's danger, even though there's no danger, that's when you start feeling that there's something bad's going to happen. Therefore, your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up. You might feel hot and cold and dryness, or you may sweat. So all these physical symptoms now come because the whole central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, everything is activated, perceiving that because there's a perception that, or assuming that there's a danger coming about. So from understanding my lecture a little bit so far, you probably understand what needs to happen, right? What needs to happen is your frontal lobe needs to be active, right? If the frontal lobe is engaged, is active, it'll control the amygdala, the lower center. The amygdala is in control, so therefore your body is not assuming that you're in danger and you're not going to have those physical symptoms anymore. So how do you keep frontal lobe active or engaged? So you want to find an activity, you want to look for an activity that engages your frontal lobe and calms your emotions and also keep your physical symptoms down. Or basically what that means is your frontal lobe is active, your amygdala lower center is suppressed, and and your peripheral nervous system or spinal cord is calm. So we need to find an activity that's easy enough that you can use it anywhere, and it doesn't need any tools. Okay, so let's find an activity that can do that. This activity should, I guess, obviously involve things where you can ground yourself. What that means is, in therapy, they call it grounding technique, using your 5 senses. So what happens is when you are activating your senses, which is your smell, touch, seeing things, these kind of things. What they do is they send these signals to your central nervous system, like because when you're touching, you're using your peripheral nervous system, right? To touch, you feel these receptors in your fingers. There are receptors in your fingers. So these fingers, the receptors in your fingers, what they do is they kind of send a signal through your nerves in your hands and legs, and it goes to your spinal cord. Again, like I said, the peripheral nervous system. Then it goes to your brain, and then the sense could be, like, just say you're feeling something soft, right? So what happens when you feel something soft? Your brain gets a signal, oh, something is soft, something is nice, something is warm, things like that. So you use that as your senses to give signals to your brain that there's no danger. So use your signals. So that's what in grounding, that's what it does. When you ground yourself, basically you're looking at things right now and then, giving your brain signals, everything's okay, everything is fine. You're giving that message through, like I said, through touch, through, seeing things and kind of relaxing. And then also breathing also is a big part of that. Breathing also gives like deep breathing, like relaxed breathing, rather than those heavy breathing, that rather than you do a very relaxed breathing where you expand your chest, expand your lungs, and you're just calming. There's that whole calming effect. And then it just kind of gives that brain that message that, hey, everything is calm. What else I've seen is that, like what I recommend people to do that is kind of looking outside, looking out in the sky. Sometimes that dilates your pupil or your little, and your eyes kind of that dilate. And then when that dilation occurs, it gives another signal to your brain that everything is calm. There's, and then it's just an automatic message. So looking things outside and looking out your window. What I've also recommended, if you're in your office, and the small thing you can do is just every hour get up in a few minutes and just kind of stretching yourself and relaxing and then looking out the window, things like that. And then so that kind of helps with that frontal lobe active. So like you're just grounding yourself. That's how you would do it. So what is that exercise I want to recommend? The very simple exercise, which is walking. Walking has done so many wonders in many aspects. It does all these things we talked about, activating your frontal lobe, calming your amygdala, lower center, and then activating your peripheral nervous system, grounding yourself. So think about it like this. And now you are in your chair sitting, all day long. I would recommend it, like if you're a person who doesn't, you're a sedentary, you have a lifestyle is like you sit in your chair all day long. Or you're just feeling stressed out that day. Just get up. And then what you need to do is just get up and walk, take few steps, like, even 5 minutes. Just move away from the stressor. Just remove yourself from there physically first. And then to help you remove yourself emotionally, you could listen to some, soft music or a motivational speech, or you can listen to me talking about things to help you relax. And this is something called calming. So that way you're thinking, you're activating your frontal lobe, you engage in it. So you're doing an activity that's engaging your frontal lobe, which is kind of grounding yourself by listening. Like I said, using that senses of listening. You could also do, if you have the ability to walk in a nature or a park or in your backyard, surround yourself something that's calming. It could be hearing of a waterfall, or seeing some calming trees and listening to trees, and anything that you can do, get out in the nature, that would definitely help. So while you're walking, you're in the nature. Studies have shown, like when you walk in nature, that you release hormones that helps you calm down. And then also you could do is deep breathing. Just take a breath when you're walking. Just don't, walk in a slow pace. So you're relaxing. You're not just increasing your heart rate. You're just walking, very minimum exertion, just very slow pace, light walking. As you're walking, you're taking nice deep breaths and relaxing and listening to something nice and just calming your whole body physically. And then giving that message to your brain, hey, there's no danger. There's nothing going on. So then your frontal lobe is activated. Your frontal lobe feels like, oh, there's no danger. It's calm. And then it starts suppressing that amygdala, the lower center. Say, hey, look, calm down. There's no danger. You don't need to be activated. You need to just calm down. So that just kind of that calming effect. So walking does wonders. If you can do that as much as possible, I recommend doing like every hour, 5 minutes of walking will do a lot. And if you can do 25 minutes to 30 minutes every day, just deep breathing and walking, it's not only it's going to decrease your stress level, it gives you some increased activity. If you're considering losing weight, it'll help you with that too. Overall, and it stretches your muscles, your whole back and your legs will feel a lot more stretched and calm. So in conclusion, I just want to say, to summarize for you, you understand by now that the key thing is kind of keeping using your senses to calm your body down, right? So I wanted to use walking as an exercise because it's simple, it's easy, and any one of us can do. So the key thing is, the key points here is activating frontal lobe, the frontal part of the brain, just activating it, keeping it active. And then in order to do that, just ground yourself to calm yourself down by deep breathing. Things you can do. Also, there's some more things you can do other than grounding is, let's just say in your room and you see colors in the room, look at different colors and shapes and count tiles. If you have a window, you can look outside the window. So that will help you kind of. The goal is to suppress that lower center of the amygdala, and then doing those deep breathings and keeping yourself active every hour or so, and then also the other exercise I've seen also, if you cannot walk and do this meditation, kind of imagining that you are in a place where you're walking and putting yourself in that very serene place also keeps that brain very active and calm. I hope this helps you kind of get you into that mode of feeling calm and then relaxed and content. So thank you very much. And in the future videos, I want to talk more about this. There are 45 symptoms we talked about in other videos. I want to give you an examples of those 45 symptoms, how we can help you using this concept to help you calm each one of them down. Thank you very much for listening. Your partner in emotional health, Dr. Quadri.